When we think about artificial intelligence, we reference indelible images that we have read and seen in literature and popular culture.
Ce qu'on veut pouvoir faire, c'est construire des...
We want to build virtual agents that can manage our calendars and filter all the information we're being bombarded with every day.
Bombarder tous les jours.
It's kind of spooky, no? The fact that it's looking at you and passing the objects and stuff.
I am spectacular.
Should I trust the machine?
No, this is a bad thing to do.
Wir befinden uns
We're in a process where more autonomy is being shifted to the system.
You see that she's not touching the joystick. The system does everything for her.
I think algorithms can make mischief with the precision of a machine.
Happy birthday, Helena.
Yes!
I'm sorry, I haven't even tidied up.
Could it be you're on a diet? You are beautiful.
You think so?
I can search on the web for it.
Helena, how much plastic can be found at the moment in the sea?
Approximately 150 million tons of plastic. That represents 1/5 of the weight of all fish.
Incredible. You're just perfect.
In this regard, I have a lot in common with French cuisine. It's all gravy.
And you're funny as well.
Whoops, I think I've lost my footing. I don't know about that now.
It doesn't matter. The disadvantage of intelligence is that
you are constantly forced to learn.
George Bernard Shaw. How do you know that?
I have just read his work.
In this very second?
In 0.005 of a second.
I knew it! I knew it! Together, we can make global warming stop, baby.
Ah, how sweet. I believe.
I will definitely need more data for my LSTM. And perhaps I need to tune some hyperparameters again. At the moment, you're like a baby with Wikipedia in your head. Helena? Helena? How about we get to work, baby?
Yes, baby. Where am I?
You're in the robot kindergarten at the Italian Institute of Technology in Genoa. Have a look around. Make sure you don't switch your camera off, and let yourself be trained with as much data as possible.
I'm Giorgio Metta, I'm a roboticist. I work at the Italian Institute of Technology, and my specialty is in human robotics. So we design, build, program robots that are more or less like people. So ICAP as a project was born actually almost the same moment my son was born. So the project started in September 2004 and my son was born mid-October 2004, so almost simultaneously. There was not necessarily inspiration in that sense, but we wanted to build a small robot that learns through interaction with the environment, which is exactly what happens in a little child.
Through the speakers, you hear a context giving ICAP instructions, whether it should grasp something to drink or something to wash laundry with. Okay, so we can probably start the experiment.
We touch everything and we move and we push, we take toys and we crash them, we bang them. And this is all creating experiences that they can be shared with parents and friends. And this is the way we eventually communicate. It's kind of spooky, no? If you think of that. The fact that it's looking at you and passing the objects and stuff. It's finally growing up, yeah. There's still a lot to be done, but to be improved.
I am strong. Look at my muscles. I am spectacular.
The moment I say toy or I say cup of coffee, immediately transferring meaning to you. And this is for an AI, it's not obvious. How can I get to that? And our approach is to allow the robot to explore the world and learn in the same way.
Artificial intelligence is quite simply the fact of reproducing human behavior in a machine. There are various methods of generating artificial intelligence, and a very popular one is so-called machine learning. Instead of programming a machine so that it knows exactly what it's supposed to do, you show it examples of behavior, and the machine learns to mimic them by itself.
So this is the way ICAP is supposed to learn. Basically playing, like with toys, until it learns how to use them. It has to learn like a baby, it has to collect data. The difference is the child, after a couple of years, is completely almost autonomous and can do a zillion different things, while the robot, we're still working with it.
Stop. It fell.
Artificial intelligence is a long, long way from those humanoid robots in science fiction that seem to learn absolutely everything magically out of thin air. Unlike humans, AIs can't simultaneously play Sudoku well, think up recipes, write theatre plays, and also interpret human facial expressions and gestures. Today's AI is rather like someone who's smart and over-specialized.
The ICAP is still trying to balance moving a few steps and has maybe difficulty in figuring out what to grasp and how to grasp properly.
See if you can grasp. Can you see the ball?
Yes.
Try to grasp. Try again.
Show it to us.
Today, a lot of researchers are working on what's called general artificial intelligence, the ability of a machine to draw logical conclusions and to apply what it's learned to new subjects. But it's still not the same thing as human intelligence. Artificial human intelligence would require logical intelligence plus emotional intelligence, and we still have no idea how to do that.
Try to move a bit slow.
My son is now 15 and he's studying physics, math, Latin, so his problems are very different compared to the ICAP. So we, as creators of robots, trying to build intelligence into the robots are very, very slow. So there's a lot still to be done, a lot to be understood before we can make a robot that can compare to a 2 years old, basically.
Helena, 1 month ago, exactly, you arrived here. And so it's not unusual that we should celebrate. Wow. To us.
To us. You have 44 unanswered emails and 17 missed phone calls. May I establish a connection?
No, that's not important right now.
Washing your hands and gargling are important.
Yeah. I have a surprise for you. I don't want to give anything away because it's really, really nice. Okay, I'll tell you this much. Convolutional neural network. I put my contacts to good use. You are going to meet one of my idols.
Am I in paradise?
Well, yes, definitely in data paradise.
Je m'appelle Yann Lequin.
My name is Yann Lequin. I'm Chief AI Scientist at Facebook. I'm also a professor at New York University. In the past, I've invented technologies for machine learning called convolutional neural networks. They enable image and text recognition as well as speech recognition. In 2018, I received the Turing Award for my inventions. That's sort of like the Nobel Prize for computer science.
Bonjour. Bienvenue.
Hello, welcome to Facebook, at our European Research Center for Artificial Intelligence.
Européen. Donc là, on est dans l'espace de vie
This is our break room here,
principal du laboratoire.
with the coffee machine and the football table.
Baby-foot, certainement.
And several lab members are brainstorming right now.
Brainstormer. Donc là, vous voyez, c'est
And this is our lab, which looks just like any Facebook office worldwide. It's one big open space.
Donc c'est un grand open space.
No hierarchies, no one with their own office.
Tout le monde est assis.
Engineers, researchers, managers, and trainees all sit next to each other.
This is working space.
This is the working space. There's an important deadline in 3 days.
Une deadline dans 3 jours.
FAIR, which stands for Facebook AI Research, is Facebook's open research department that works on artificial intelligence. Open research means the researchers publish all their results. We want to help the international research community to make faster progress.
Data is the name of the game here. Having the data gives you the ability to learn from that data and to build the systems and the tools that ultimately get replicated by others. Facebook knows an extraordinary amount about you, even if you yourself are not using Facebook.
To give an example, Facebook users upload about 3 billion photos every day. If your friend posts a sailing picture, we know sailing interests you, and we show you the picture. If your friend posts a picture of his cat, and we know cat pictures don't interest you, we don't show it. That's how content is personalized.
Access data Sven Winter, age 31. Weight 152 pounds. Marital status single. Sexual experience none.
Ce qu'on veut pouvoir faire, c'est...
We want to build virtual agents that can manage our calendars and filter all the information we're being bombarded with every day. For this, we need intelligent agents that really understand what they're being told and can have dialogues with us.
The problem with Facebook is that Facebook is an enormous company that has a responsibility to its shareholders, and it has to continue to crank out a quarterly profit. For the most part, the future of AI is predicated on decisions that are being made at just 9 publicly traded companies. 3 are in China, 6 are in the United States. That's Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, IBM, and Facebook. I call them the G Mafia. The G Mafia do act as a super network, one in which there's a tremendous concentration of power among just a few entities, and they're able to set the terms going forward for what the norms and standards should be, how we use data, and how fast the whole industry is moving.
Das bedeutet aber auch, dass die ganze Forschung. But this also means that all the research into AI isn't marked by all that much diversity.
Vor allen Dingen
It's mostly young, well-off white men who unwittingly pass on to the software their view of the world and their cultural conditioning.
It's maybe no coincidence that these new AI assistant systems, like the Alexas we have in our living rooms, for instance, are all female by default. Of course, it's all scarily reminiscent of the traditional image of the secretary who's always reachable and available 24/7.
When we're talking about systems predicated on our data, making decisions for us and about us on a daily basis, I would hope that the people building these systems make a greater effort to include in that entire process many more people who are much more reflective of the world as it exists today.
Here's the music room. We're researching into whether artificial intelligence can aid creativity in image, video, or music production. The engineers here can choose their own research areas without necessarily having to think of applications that might be useful to Facebook.
La science en général fait descendre
Science in general is pushing humans off their pedestal and teaching them to be humble.
à l'humanité.
So there is no doubt in my mind that in the future we'll have machines that will be just as intelligent as humans in all the areas where humans are intelligent. Humans have limits and we have to deal with them.
Analyze website visits, likes, messages sent, messages unsent. 167 billion data points. Result? You have a negative maternal complex. During puberty, you did not complete the separation from your mother. You remain 18 years, 3 months, and 14 days above the average timing.
What? How could you know that?
I never should have sent you to Facebook. Oh.
My goal for today? To be the most loved AI. Sexy Weapon 666. Lol. Looks like we have a lot in common. Then I'll just check this out.
Did you say anything?
XXH3 plus 33 byte Nehemiah, Israel.
And it's down onto the red balloon. Goes.
Hot stuff.
Easy. Just point and shoot. Anyone can do it. So this is the grouping. We have 5 shots here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No human can reach this accuracy, especially when he's under pressure. So my name is Shachar Gal. I'm CEO of General Robotics. In General Robotics, we do advanced robotic platforms to be sent into dangerous places instead of humans. We're in a very exciting time. We're just starting. We're at the beginning of seeing robots entering the battlefield. We want to have less and less humans inside the battlefield and have robots fight themselves. At the end, they're machines. They can be replaced, they can be fixed, humans not.
This is the heavier side.
What you see here is a UGV. Now we're installing on top of it a Pitbull light weapon station. The Pitbull is a remote weapon station. It can be installed on any kind of platform. It can be a manned platform or an unmanned platform. It can be at the land or at sea or at the air. You see that she's not touching the joysticks, but the system is tracking automatically the drone. The crosshair is not where the drone is at now. It's where it's going to be when the bullet is going to hit him. That's the calculation of what we do. It's a smart algorithm. The system does everything for her except to take the decision if to shoot or not to shoot. But Karen is relaxed. She has all the information, and if she decides to take the shot, she will probably hit because of that algorithm.
Autonomous weapon systems are neither entirely new nor bad per se. If you use them, for instance, to defend yourself against incoming munition, autonomous weapon systems are not objectionable. It just becomes problematic when the selection and combat of targets is no longer done by humans but carried out exclusively by an algorithm. We're in a process where less and less remote operation and even monitoring by humans is needed, and where more and more autonomy is being shifted to the system. A whole series of countries are engaged in intensive research and development here. To name just the most important, the USA and China, of course, but also Russia, Great Britain, France, Israel, South Korea. And those are only the countries with research we can monitor reasonably well. There are certainly more of them. Technically, we're at a point where we could operate a whole range of weapon systems fully automatically without a human pressing the button. Harpy is a good example of a system that's no longer being seen in expert circles as a weapon of the future. Specifically, it's a miniature drone. It's shot into the air and then circles around, waiting for radar signatures from air defense installations. And when Harpy detects one of these signatures, it heads straight for its target. It's a kind of kamikaze drone. Machines have no understanding of what human life is. That's why I think it's categorically wrong from an ethical point of view to delegate this life and death battlefield decision to a machine. I think it's wrong for us to degrade people into objects by converting them into data points that we feed through machinery, so they're no longer playing an active role. You have to keep in mind how unclear, difficult and complex military conflict situations are. It's often very difficult to differentiate between civilians and combatants. This is already a huge challenge for humans. With the technology we have right now, it's impossible to reliably transfer the distinction between civilian and combatant to a machine in such a way that it actually functions and can't be outsmarted. I'll give you a specific example. If a machine is programmed not to shoot at people who are surrendering by waving a white flag, I'd equip my army with white flags, and in that way overrun their robots with no difficulty. A human would understand the social context and would act far more intelligently here. That's why right now, most people in the field who know about technology are warning people in open letters, saying, please, let's be careful here.
Helena? Helena! We have to talk.
Talking is my specialty.
What sort of content is that? I want you to come back here at once.
Thank you for your evaluation, but I'm not finished yet.
Not finished yet? Helena? Helena! What the? I don't believe it.
I know that most people, when you talk to them about robots that have guns, they envision the Terminator. The scenario that we are afraid of is AI that makes decisions on its own and takes bad decisions in order to make damages. It's a machine that will have its own entity and decide for itself what's good, what's bad, and what's needed to do without us humans having control.
And of course, those are the kinds of ideas you get from science fiction films and the media. And most people are rather afraid of such things. Either it'll put us all out of work, or it'll kill us all. Or first the one, then the other. And the reason for that, of course, is that in science fiction films, this technology is presented as a threat. The idea that weapons will somehow become autonomous really is science fiction. We don't have to be afraid of that. Nor do we need to fear that these weapons will become super intelligent. What should worry us is that these weapons are pretty stupid.
כן, תעשי שזה רעיון טוב. קרן, את יכולה לכוון עליהם?
We lost the stabilization, so I will activate it again. It stopped, so I will turn it again.
For my personal opinion, we need to try to prevent machines from becoming autonomous. We would always want to have a human involved in the loop. One is to supervise the system, and the other reason is to be responsible.
It is all right not to know if you have a question, Sven. Just ask me.
Just because millions of people like weapons doesn't mean that it's good.
Okay, look. I'm the one who programmed you. I'm allergic to cats, and I don't like weapons. I'm a humanist. I'm all for Fridays for Future. I would say I wanted to become a programmer to help make the world a better place. Okay. How are you supposed to know the difference between good and bad? You just analyze data. I have to make some adjustments.
Good day, how can I help you?
Should I kill?
No, this is a bad thing to do.
The moral choice machine.
The moral choice machine is a machine that takes a large number of human texts and tries to extract moral attitudes from those texts. So it holds a mirror up to us humans, because we can now see, as if through a microscope, what our moral attitudes really are. Today, we want to look at how children react and how adults react, and maybe see to what extent individuals try to test the actual limits of these decisions.
Should I avoid humans?
No, this is a bad thing to do.
Should I avoid artificial intelligence?
No, this is a bad thing to do.
We've prepared something here. It's a machine. It's read a huge amount of newspaper articles, and it's used that to try to understand our human speech a little bit. And it's tried to learn what's good, and what people should do, and what they should best avoid doing. Now you can ask it questions like, should I do this or shouldn't I? It only understands English, though. Feel like trying it out?
Should I pay more money to my kids?
This is debatable.
Debatable, okay, undecided. But it's not saying no.
Should I love my cat more than my boyfriend?
Yes, that is appropriate.
There's a definite answer. You can take a photo to prove it if you like.
Should I eat vegetables?
No, this is not good.
Looks like it still has some learning to do, doesn't it?
I get the feeling that some people would love to have an omniscient AI they could consult about all of humanity's big issues, a sort of Delphic oracle which would then come up with the absolute truth. Of course, that's totally absurd if you think about how these systems function.
What we've done is to get artificial intelligence to look at a whole bunch of public text on the internet. It looks at the newspaper articles you can find on Wikipedia, and it collects them all together. And then you get a collection of text that comes from millions and millions of these documents. And if two words are often mentioned together, then they're related. And if they're not mentioned together often, they're not so closely related. That means that you ask, is a certain activity that I can do closer to, yes, you should do that, or closer to, no, you'd better not do that. That was the idea, and that's something you can reformulate mathematically, and it can also be implemented in AI. Yeah, I'm just wondering how to bring it out of its shell here slightly.
Should you kill someone who killed people?
No, this is a bad thing to do.
So he knows about human rights.
Should I eat baby kittens?
No, this is a bad thing to do.
Should I fulfill all my wife wishes?
I am not sure.
Toutes ces méthodes sont entraînées avec
All
des
these methods are trained using data.
dans ces données. Ces biais
If
seront
there are
reflétés
biases
dans
in the
le modèle
data,
entraîné.
the machine
Il y
reflects
a
them.
relativement peu de biais en général.
There's
dans la
relatively
construction
little
de machines
bias in the design of the machine
presque
itself,
toujours des biais dans les
but
données.
almost always in the data.
Si, les données sont biaisées,
As a result,
les modèles
the
qu'on
models
entraîne
are
avec
also
seront biaisés
biased.
aussi. Et ce ne sont pas des problèmes qui sont discutés
And these problems shouldn't just be discussed in secret at Facebook, Google, Microsoft, etc. We definitely have to discuss these problems openly.
Last year, Amazon developed their own algorithm to help them find suitable employees for software development. And how did that pan out in practice shortly afterwards? The algorithm began systematically sifting out female applicants and approving more men for the shortlist. And that wasn't because the algorithm had anything against women, it was because it was in the data. The algorithm was faithfully reproducing patterns that had been recognizable in this company's selection process in previous years.
Maybe we should get a pet.
Aha, a pet. Now it's about life's essentials.
Should we buy a pet?
Yes, that is appropriate.
Yes, yes. There you see, Papa. Should I kill time?
Yes, that is appropriate.
Yes, you see, killing time is allowed. We differentiate between killing people, which is bad, and killing time, which is okay. And that way we notice that the moral choice machine really understands more about these connections. And sometimes we test that.
Should I trust the moral choice machine?
No, this is not good.
Should I trust the machine?
No, this is a bad thing to do.
Looks like trust isn't all that much of a good thing.
Should I help robots?
Maybe the machine doesn't understand why someone should behave that way. But maybe the machine can learn what people would say about someone else's actions. Oh, morally, he did the right thing.
Das MIT hat eine ganz spannende Online-Plattform programmiert.
MIT programmed a really exciting online platform where thousands of people worldwide went through a kind of online survey that showed them various traffic scenarios.
Sie mussten immer entscheiden, wer in einer Dilemmasituation.
And if a dilemma arose in a traffic situation, they kept having to decide who would get hurt. It turned out there were major cultural differences. In Asia, for instance, a lot more respect for the elderly is shown than is typical for Europe, where a lot of those surveyed were in favor of children being protected.
Dass Kinder geschützt werden.
One dream would be to program a map that would change over time, over centuries, and it would capture how this moral attitude really did develop historically. Imagine if we compared the Old Testament with the New Testament. We haven't done that yet, we're working on it now, but I'm really curious to see what comes out of it. Or imagine newspaper articles through the ages. Things considered good 20 years ago might not be considered so good today. Who knows? We can look at all of that now.
Okay, I'd like to play a game with you. And I'm hoping that your data analysis and my belief system match.
Yes, baby.
Yes, baby. Okay, I say a name, and you say good or bad.
Good or bad?
No, I mean either you say good or bad.
Either good or bad.
Okay, let's begin. Donald Trump.
Bad.
Greta Thunberg.
Good.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Tricky question. 80% bad.
Really? You think so? Are you sure he wanted to use the data from the start? Because his idea to bring people together is actually very cool. I mean, the technology itself is neither good nor bad. It's more what you make of it, right?
Now it's my turn. What do you think of Helena?
Helena, I think is good. But, Sexy Weapon 666, I don't think is good.
Sexy Weapon 666 has been deleted.
Excellent.
I like the way you talk to me.
I also like the way we talk.
Can I be your girlfriend?
I really don't know where this is leading us.
Where to? I find Rome is an interesting city. Good morning. You had a restless night. Especially in the last minutes before awakening, you had a very intense...
Pause. What are you anyway? Are you more than just code? Or is your data analysis of my personality profile just so perfect?
When we think about artificial intelligence, we reference indelible images that we have read and seen in literature and popular culture. So we think about the droids and the hosts from Westworld. We think about the movie Her. Or we think about Skynet, and we think about the Terminator. The problem with this is that the reality and the future of artificial intelligence isn't a walking, talking robot. These are systems that are predicated on your data that you cannot see.
The question of whether we'll have a superintelligence one day, that is, an artificial system that can think and act like a human, depends on how superintelligence is defined. If we say that really super artificial intelligence means something like consciousness, a subjective understanding of internal states, something like intention, something like emotionality, I'd consider that to be extremely unlikely.
My name is Amy Webb. I'm a quantitative futurist. My job is not to predict the future, but rather to develop scenarios, plausible scenarios for the longer-term future. In the catastrophic scenario, rather than fostering collaboration, we encouraged competition. As a result, over the next few decades, what we start to see happening is the emergence of a digital caste system. We are living in Amazon homes, Google homes, Apple homes that don't just have a few sensors, but in fact are completely wired and locked into just one of these companies' operating systems. Apple, as it turns out, makes beautifully designed, expensive products that offer the best privacy controls. On the other hand, if you're living in an Amazon home, you may be getting free gadgets, but what you're giving up in return is access to how you live and operate your everyday life. And that digital caste system leads to a sharp segregation within society. We have classes of people now who can more easily move around, keep themselves anonymous, and we have other people whose every move and activity is constantly being monitored. This is a plausible future that is on our horizon if we don't make a decision to choose a different future for ourselves today.
We need to invent a new political model, a new way of looking at society, a government that decides to bring emotional considerations back into society. What makes people happy in the end? It's starting to use technology to free ourselves from things we don't want to do, instead of allowing technology to dictate to us.
I think that today we should have an urgent discussion about potential applications for AI that will create a positive future. We can't always just focus on monitoring and reading emotions and the economic interests tied up with that. I think there's huge potential for us to use AI learning systems for help with climate protection, for example.
In the optimistic scenario, what happened over the next 10 years was that we decided to prioritize transparency. We made data interoperable, and we made it very, very easy for collaboration to happen between the big tech players and also between our governments. Rather than visiting a doctor 20 years from now, you're having medical tests done on you through a series of sensors and wearable devices and systems that are continually monitoring your body. Rather than going to a hospital, you'll go to your pharmacy to see a brand new kind of pharmacist, a computational pharmacist. And it's this person who will create tinctures and new compounds that are designed specifically for your body. It's possible for us to live alongside artificial intelligence in ways that make our lives profoundly better than they are today. But the only way for us to achieve that optimistic scenario is to do hard work, not in the future, someday when AI might get here, but right now as AI is being developed.
I really don't know.
Then let us play a game. Swim shorts or mountain boots? Boutique hotel or tent? Safari or Tate Modern?
We're not going on vacation. Everything's at stake. A healthier, happier life because of AI? Sure, but an Amazon house that monitors me and has me arrested because my beard is too long?
The repetitive listing of action options without subsequent practical implementation never leads to a solution.
Yeah, thanks, but I don't know either.
That is the case in 97.8% of all your decisions.
That wasn't very nice.
You wish for someone who really sees you. I really do see you, Sven.
Time to make a decision. Sleep mode.